Ever heard a story or a warning about certain places or roads? Maybe next time listen to them and heed the warning, because some stories are more than what you expect. The Hollow One. They found the car just after dawn, still running, lights on, driver's door hanging open. The locals said the fog had been thicker than usual that morning, seeping through the trees like a living thing. A county patrolman on his early shift spotted the vehicle, an old Dodge sedan, parked sideways on the shoulder of Hollow Road. No sign of a crash. No blood. No footprints leading away. Just silence. The missing man's name was Thomas Rayner, 22, a college dropout who had come home to Black Hollow to get his head straight. He was last seen leaving a friend's house just after midnight, headed home on the back roads to avoid traffic. No one heard from him again. His mother never left town. She still leaves a candle in the window each year on the anniversary, just in case. Just in case he finds his way back out of the woods. But the locals know better. They always have. Elena stood on her porch, cradling a mug of coffee, watching the morning mist drift through the trees. The town of Black Hollow was quaint and quiet, exactly the kind of place she'd dreamed of when she left the city behind. Her new home, a modest blue-gray cottage nestled at the edge of the forest, was the first real thing she'd owned on her own. Her neighbors had been friendly, if a bit guarded. Small-town folks, she figured, slow to trust, but kind in their way. The only one who seemed truly wary was Mrs. Whitlow, the woman next door. In her 70s and seemingly born with a permanent frown, she'd knocked on Elena's door the first night with a plate of cookies and a warning. "Stay away from Hollow Road after dark," she'd said, setting the cookies down with a trembling hand. "That's when it comes out." Elena had smiled politely, thanked her for the cookies, and brushed off the warning. "What comes out?" she'd asked with a light chuckle. Mrs. Whitlow's eyes had gone distant, her voice low. "It doesn't have a name. Some call it a spirit. Others, worse. But I've seen what it leaves behind. Don't go looking for it. You're new here, so stay safe." That had been weeks ago. Elena hadn't thought much about it since. Every small town had its ghost stories, its old wives' tales. She chalked it up to superstition. That is, until the night she forgot the warning. It was a Friday evening in late October when Elena stayed out later than she'd planned. She had driven to the next town over for groceries and lost track of time wandering the aisles, enjoying the solitude and the quiet. By the time she got back on the road, the sun had set. Her GPS rerouted due to a detour, construction it said. The new route took her along an unfamiliar stretch of road, winding, narrow and swallowed by trees. She didn't realize it until she saw the faded wooden sign half hidden in the underbrush. Hollow Road. Elena hesitated, foot hovering over the gas. The name rang a bell, Mrs. Whitlow's voice echoed in her mind. "Stay away from Hollow Road after dark." She almost turned back, but it was late. She was tired. And really, what was she afraid of? Trees? With a sigh, she kept going. The headlights sliced through the darkness, casting long shadows that danced between the trunks. The road was old, the pavement cracked and uneven, with patches of moss creeping up along the edges. The forest pressed close, as if leaning in to watch her pass, and it was unnaturally quiet. No chirping crickets, no rustling leaves, just the hum of her car engine and the faint crunch of gravel under her tires. The air felt heavy, pressing against her chest. She tried to shake the unease creeping up her spine. "It's just a road. Nothing's out here." The car's headlights illuminated something up ahead, and Elena hit the brakes. A deer was standing in the middle of the road, its head bowed low. She frowned and leaned forward, her heart skipping a beat when she saw the state of the animal. Its fur was matted and patchy, its body unnaturally thin, like it hadn't eaten in weeks. Its legs trembled as if it could barely stand, and then it raised its head. Elena gasped. The deer's face wasn't right. Its eyes were sunken, its mouth stretched too wide, filled with jagged, uneven teeth. But it wasn't the deer's distorted features that made her blood run cold. It was the thing standing behind it. At first, she thought it was another animal, maybe a bear. But as her eyes adjusted to the dim light, she realized it was something far worse. The creature was tall, its gaunt, elongated frame bent unnaturally to fit under the canopy of trees. Its limbs were impossibly long, with joints that bent the wrong way. Its skin was pale and translucent, stretched taut over its bones, and its face, or what passed for a face, was a smooth, featureless expanse except for a gaping, vertical mouth filled with needle-like teeth. Elena's breath caught in her throat as the creature placed one spindly hand on the deer's back. The animal didn't flinch, didn't move. It just stood there, trembling, as if it were a puppet on strings. The creature's head tilted, as if it had noticed her for the first time. Slowly, it began to straighten, its body unfolding like a spider stretching its legs. It was taller than her car now, towering over the road, its mouth curling into something that might have been a smile. Elena slammed the car into reverse, her tires screeching as she backed away. The deer collapsed to the ground as the creature stepped forward, moving with a jerky, unnatural gait. Its long fingers brushed the tops of the trees as it followed her, its eyeless face fixed on her car. The road seemed to stretch endlessly, the trees closing in on either side. Elena's heart pounded as she glanced in the rearview mirror. The creature was still following, its movements faster now, more frantic. She could hear it, its breath a wet, rasping sound, and the faint clicking of its teeth. She floored the gas pedal, her car lurching down the narrow road. Just when she thought she'd lose control, she saw the turnoff ahead, the entrance to Black Hollow. The creature let out a shriek, a high-pitched, guttural sound that rattled the windows of her car, and then it stopped. It stood at the edge of the trees, its body half hidden in shadow, its mouth still stretched in that awful, unnatural grin. Elena didn't stop driving until she was safely back in her driveway, her hands trembling as she fumbled with her keys to get inside. She locked the doors, closed the blinds, and sat in the dark, her mind racing. Elena didn't remember driving home. One moment she was at the edge of the woods, and the next she was sitting in her driveway, her hands trembling as they clutched the wheel. The car engine ticked in the silence, cooling. She stumbled out, nearly tripping up the steps, and fumbled her key into the lock. Once inside, she shut every curtain, locked every door, and turned off the lights. She sat in the dark, clutching a kitchen knife she didn't remember grabbing. Like that might keep her safe. She didn't sleep. The next morning, she told herself she'd imagined it. Stress, exhaustion, the shadows playing tricks on her. She even went out to check the car. No damage, no blood, no scratches. She tried telling someone just once. She called the local sheriff's office. Told them that she saw a wild animal. The deputy on the line went quiet when she said the words Hollow Road. Then, stay inside, Miss Carter. Don't go back there. Ever. Click. No visit. No report. Desperate for answers, Elena turned to the only person who'd ever warned her. Mrs. Whitlow opened the door before she even knocked. You saw it, didn't you? Elena nodded, her voice hoarse. What is it? Mrs. Whitlow looked tired, older than she had before. We don't know. It's always been here. My brother. He disappeared out there in 1978. You said it doesn't have a name? Not one we're brave enough to say. She led Elena to a dusty box in her attic. Inside were old photographs of missing persons, newspaper clippings, stories the rest of the world never heard. Victims, all last seen near Hollow Road. One photo showed something else, a tree gnarled and black, with something carved into its trunk. IT watches. She never spoke of it again. No one asked. But she noticed things. How people in town crossed themselves when they passed the forest's edge. How Mrs. Whitlow would place salt on her windowsills each new moon. How no one ever mentioned the disappearances. Black Hollow kept its secrets. It always had. Elena moved 6 months later. She left the little house behind and never looked back. But some nights, when she couldn't sleep, she thought about the creature. The way it smiled. The way it watched. She didn't know how she had gotten away, but she knew one thing. She's never going back to Black Hollow. Thank you for listening, and please remember to hit that like and subscribe.